Theme song. December 1726. The snow falls gently down upon Solid Ham. Their finished bridge now quite icy and slippery. There's been a couple of signs put up here at the base saying, watch out. Don't let the little kids run along here. They will slip and potentially fall through the way too far apart spacers for the size of person. But, I mean, little kids, of course. The adults are better, but just, be careful on the bridge is all. We have the trading dock. I've ordered it to be completed just because it's always sitting there, and I just want to know what that opens up for us on our world map. Where do I get the easiest way to go to the world map, I think, is here. So I want to see, hopefully, what I believe Panachidunian and Barkananakalov are going to be giving us as far as possible trade. So I'd like to get into that, so we might as well get that done. A lot of things to get done, though. I think we have about 4 open jobs for fellas. We have 4 ladies looking for jobs. So if this was a more equitable society, then we could just hire them. But honestly, I kind of like the challenge of having different job types. Thinking of a more traditional society, a little old school with it, does help us, does restrict the gameplay even more and make it a bit more challenging. So I want to go over that, and I think what it means is we should expand our housing options out this way, and then not build all of them. We'll just pause them, but we expand our street out this way. And then start to fill in down here a little bit, and around here, I think we should just be farmland. I would love to get some animal farms, some grazing going on out here, but mainly just finish the old town. I think all the technical stuff, the limestone, the kiln, all that kind of stuff, is going to start happening in this space down here, as we talked about in the last episode. This feels like where you want the bulk of your big city built, so this is where we're going to really get going here. But just to make sure that the old town is very self-sufficient and pulling in money and generating a lot of food for us. I want to bring out the agriculture in this area here. Get some textiles going on. This could be sort of our textiles row right near the trading dock, so we could kind of sell that stuff and then bring it in from the outlying farms. But again, and I want to say thanks to all of your comments and your helps and your tips. We got to overhaul this farm situation, and it is the winter, so this is probably the best time to overhaul it, with keeping an eye out for any sort of weaknesses. So these 2 fields might have to be fallow this year or something, stuff like that. I think we can actually do that. I think we can get away with, there'll be a bit of a shaky supply for a little bit here. And yes, of course, these farms are not necessarily perfectly sized, which will always lead to some sort of issues in the future. And I think, we should have 1 more field, right? I think we have 7. We might as well go to 8. Or we can get rid of one of the fields and just have 6, which is going to make rotation a little easier. But for now, let's get started with these. I just don't think you want to have more than, say, 4 at a time going. And having this 7th field might be a problem. That said, it might also be a good time in the winter to set up yet another fisher's thing, which would be, where is that? Fishing dock right there. Yeah, so we could fit another one there, and I think, honestly, that's just going to look good. So if I get rid of this little field here, which is only a 430 unit field, almost our smallest field. These 3 are pretty dinky. So the other thing, too, is maybe these 3 fields are the exact same. So this 7th field, quote-unquote, is just not being used that much. Or we kind of reshape it a little bit so we can get a whole bunch more fishing docks around here. I know I had said that I'd also want the pigsty to be here. Yeah, you know what? Let's demolish this field. We just don't need it, okay? So we're going to have these 6 fields here. And maybe we need to look at this 400 unit one and bring it out just a little bit. So let's add a field here. And we're paused right now. There we are. So that's 25 units. Place is occupied. Is it the entrance? Oh, it's just... okay, I see. Oh, I see, okay. All right, so let's make sure that that's out here, but it leans back a little bit. 25, like that. Okay, there we go. Bring it over here and maybe hold Alt so that we can build it out a little bit. There. So that's gone from... Does that fence look weird? I think that's fine. I think it's a little junky, but... So that fence is now 480, that field, rather than 400. So that's gotten a few more units there. And then, honestly, we could demolish... you heard me. I said demolish. So we could do this here and just get a little bit more. Oh, okay, apparently not. Oh, it's finicky, isn't it? Okay. So I gotta go like that to get the entrance? Okay, well, how about we just rotate the entrance there? Okay, there we are. So this is 540 if we do it like that, or we can go not so crazy and just kind of bring it in there. It's still 540. Okay. So now we have an entrance to this farm. Entrances here and here and there. All right. So we're now down to 6, but with slightly more sizable, like this one being our weakest farm. But all the rest of them producing decent turnouts. This one maybe is too big. So let's demolish that one. And then think about, you know, what a nicer little... Okay, and let's rotate that to there. There we are. So 7, I mean, that's not that much. Okay, let's shrink that guy down a bit then. There we are. Oh, there. So that's 700. 690, we'll go 720. So there's a little bit of a curve there, but again, it looks natural. I like that. So now that's resized a little bit more realistically, some of these units. So it's like when this one is in full rotation, the farmers, the ladies at the farm will be like, oh, well, that's actually quite an easy, this is an easy summer. We just have to deal with this tiny field. So I think that's going to look really nice, and I think that's worth getting another fishing dock kind of ordered up at least, and we can start working on that through the winter. Actually, I might pause it because we should get another farm up and running during the winter, but I think that's going to start looking really nice to have the docks kind of curving around that corner. So we can use that space here, and there hopefully is enough room still in this area for a pigsty. I just want to make sure that they're going to have the right thing to eat. But yeah, like a little... Oh yeah, we could get a couple of pigsties in here too, and that'll be nice and packed in here. So it's going to be kind of a nice, sort of a busy area. Although we might not be able to... I think we can probably sneak one in there based on where we put the next fishing dock. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it, but I think that's going to look really nice in and around this space here. The big thing to do, though, is we do need to clean these up. This has gone crazy. Now, obviously, we don't have a plow yet. So let's start... let's start by having... you know what? Let's clean them all off. Start fallow. Clean all these off. And start again. I think that's the most important thing is that we just like, let's get rid of a fresh slate here. Now what I want to do is add a layer of farm all the way down here. All right. And let me think here. We want 2 and then fallow. So proper crop rotation is what we're working on today. I want to make sure that we're doing this proper. So we could go wheat, and then what I tried to do was have 3 rotations. I thought what you could do is flax, and then wheat again, because flax only uses 5%. No, wait, sorry. I think we can go... here's what I thought we could do, potatoes. Okay, so wheat uses 50% of your nutrients and 60% of that. Then you have flax, which only uses 5% and 60% of your blue, which I don't know what blue is. Then we have this, which uses 50% and 30%. So that lines up quite nice. However, the problem is we're using 50, 50, and then 5, tiny little 5. So that's the problem right there. We could do this, but then it's 20, 60, and then potatoes take 30. So unless you can see, I'm looking at the math, and I'm like, I wonder if there's a way to get 3 fields in there. And definitely, like, let's discuss that. But right now, I think 2 and then move on is the best one. And from the lookings, it looks kind of like you want to go wheat and potatoes. You know, meat and potatoes, wheat and potatoes. The potatoes, you're leaving a lot of, I would say, blue, which I don't know why I feel like that's nitrogen. You're leaving a lot of nitrogen up for grabs, whatever blue is. The next thing we could do here is, for example, we could go buckwheat, and then we could go wheat. That keeps wheat every year. That's kind of the dream here. So that buckwheat is going to use up a little bit of that, and then that kind of works well. Then we're going to want to go, and so then we have fallow here, right? So let's have 2 fallow fields here. Next, fallow and fallow. Then these 2 here could be, let's say, do we have wheat in this year? We have wheat in this year, so this could be sunflowers, which use kind of everything. So you got to follow that up with something that's not as crazy. I think buckwheat would be good because 60 and then 20 and 60 and 30. So yeah, that's going to use up pretty much your entire field. But still, we're producing very, sellable grains. This is going to be great to turn into oil eventually. Okay, so we have another field here that is fallow this year. Great. So let's go with, flax. Flax is interesting. So 60% of that. So we could do anything except for hemp and buckwheat if we did flax. And I think flax is going to be useful to us. So we'll go flax, and then I think we should go wheat. Let's make sure. Yeah, we have wheat grown that year now. Perfect. All right, so that leaves us, one fallow season here, one fallow season there, and so these two are fallow in the middle. There we are. So let's go for, we could do wheat and wheat here, and then something else here. And then that kind of gives us like a lot of wheat growth throughout, except for that middle year. There's a middle year where we're not growing a lot of wheat, and then we grow a ton of wheat in the middle. I think that's okay, especially, I don't know which field 2 is, but I think that's going to work out okay. So let's go with wheat, and then the first thing we would grow, I guess. What do we have lots of or not enough of? So buckwheat. I'm not seeing enough sunflowers. Go sunflowers, then wheat, then fallow. Down here we'll go wheat, then do we want more sunflowers? We could get some more flax going. Could be useful to have more flax because that's every 3 years we only get 1 round of flax. That's not ideal. Oh, and I am seeing that we don't have good potato action. You heard me. Potato action. So flax. So we don't have a lot of potatoes growing. We need more wheat, potatoes, and I would say like hemp could be good for our things. So we need to activate those fields, which is activate. Where are the ones we made? Okay, here we go. Activate. There we are. So they're all activated now, and they have, I would say, a better rotation where we won't have years that just don't work out. This is going to be fallow. This is our only one that has 41% left, but what does the sunflower need? 30%, 60, and 100. So even if it switches over on the end of December here, we will have enough to grow those sunflowers. And this one will be fallow, so we're fine. We're fine all around. There we have it. A slightly smarter farm setup, one that we will now copy over on the other side of town. So the other side of town is going to need a warehouse probably, and then we'll bring things to the central granary, of course. And then we can get our textiles up and running and keep working on our fishing dock. I don't know if we'll get that done for the summer because the first thing to do, let's pause, is let's get this field going. So I want the houses to continue first. But I was thinking that this here could be an interesting entrance to our, we put an oil factory right here. So let's go ahead and put a small arch, T to rotate, on like a little bit of an angle. I swear I'm going somewhere with this. Rotate it back just a little bit. There, that feels good. There we are. Then we're going to bring a fence along this line here, which, I mean, actually, if we think about this, we could demolish this. All right. Then we could bring this fence, because the fence is when they're, as we've seen before, when they're lined up a little too close. I guess that doesn't look terrible. But what we could do is bring it out just a little bit. Right? And then we have a little bit of separation here. That separation gives us an opportunity for decoration. You've heard me. You've heard it. You've heard me. You've heard it here first. Separation equals decoration. So we're going to place our small arch right there. A bit of a rotation here. Needs to remove one tree. That's fine. We're going to get that tree removed, and then we're going to put something right there. This leaves a sort of a laneway right here where I'd like to put some more housing. Alt. Okay. Right about there. And then I'm going to F1 to customize this building because I want to bring that fencing down just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Screenshot added to the gallery, it told me. Okay. Well, that's not what I was trying to do, but this is fine. This is fine. So we're going to bring these down a little bit and square them off. We'll bring this over and create a little more of a laneway. Like so. And then we zoom out just to make sure that we're still... What if we do maybe something a little more like that? So that's quite a big laneway, actually. So I think what we should do is bring this more in line with this so it doesn't look too bizarre. There we are. That feels good. You know, it feels, again, it's one of those things where if we're not careful, we're going to start pinching in the territory here. So let's go a little bit more like that. There we are. Yeah, that straightens out a little bit more, so we're not taking away too much territory from this housing here. And we'll put a road down here, I think, as well. Maybe this road that goes right down to the beach area. The beach, you know, in case they want to sun themselves. Then I'm going to move this over by... let's enter, start construction, and pause you. Let's delete this little fence here. Unpause and pause, and demolish this, and then pause again. Okay, and let's put that arch inset a little bit here, like so. So it's a little more there. That feels about right. There we go. Then this fence is going to eventually kind of go all the way around here and connect up to that, or we could just do a straight line like that. So I kind of want to, bring this up here. Bring a nice little oval. Then I'm either going to fill that in with trees, or we'll start to double up. Like we'll get a second smithy in here. Oops. We'll get a second smithy in here and some more carpentry, more forestry, and such like that. So this is going to be a very hefty industrial area that I've always wanted to have. Now, this little gap here, let's see what we can do with that. Nothing. Okay. Maybe some bushes. Dog rose bush? All right. Okay, I can see these dog rose bushes are not interested in playing. So what I could do is make this a little bit bigger and then get something in there, or we could shrink it down and not worry so much about it. But I think I like the idea of just putting some trees up and around here. Although it would just be a row of trees, wouldn't it? Well, that might look good, though. So let's leave that for now while we build out the rest of this structure and make sure we're paused. Village house with a garden. Put that one here, kind of line it up so much so like this. And then bring this around there. Bring that guy up to kind of line up with that. Is that about right? I would say so. Something like that. There is a bit of a... Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I would say we got to be careful. It says things are starting. I mean, it's hard to make things line up exactly. And again, they weren't, back in the Ostriv days, I don't think that they had surveyors making sure everything was exactly straight. How big is this? That yard is massive. That's, this person's going to have a very small sort of backyards kind of a life here. We'll give them a bit of a backyard, though. That's kind of fun. Shift R. Nope. Oh, kind of. It's kind of straight. It's not straight at all. I know I said this was going to be calm content, and I am trying to maintain my composure. But sometimes I get a little worked up. I think that's about as straight as we'll get, so that's good. And I feel like, it's going to be, I think it's going to look natural rather than a perfect grid. It's funny how I think I start to complain about housing. I start to complain about buildings and building games that enforce a strict grid. And then the first thing I try to do in a gridless building game is create a grid. Something's wrong with me. Something's also wrong with this grid. Okay. But I think what now we can do is we can attach, we can start working off of this shape and place a little faster here. Because I want to enter this one. Okay, let's pause these. Let's keep this guy being built. This one here. We do want some folks to start moving in because we have a lot of ladies looking for for homes. But the main thing to make sure we get done is the farm. We do need this farm. I mean, it'd be nice, rather, to get it built in time for the new year. Okay, so let's bring this here. Make sure it snaps a bit, kind of thing. Rotate it a little. Just a hair. Make it a little bit bigger so they have just a bit more land there. Oh, whoops. Nope, that's not what I wanted. All right, so I have placed a final house. I'm going to pause that as well, and we're still paused here. I hope that these roads have gotten a little narrower. This one still seems like it might be a nice little main road into town, and then once you get in here, it gets a little more mainy, and then there's a nice open space in the middle there. But again, like, this seemed to be the widest road. And these thoroughfares, I mean, that is quite nice, isn't it, though, to be that wide? So maybe this has gotten a little narrow, but, you know, maybe that's just life. Hopefully, we'll still be able to sneak some trees along the sides and stuff in, because that is a nice view. That's just beautiful. But things are getting tighter. You know, space is a little more of a premium here in Solidham now. So we have a little thoroughfare going down here. And so I think we can have a lot of farmland here. And then I think I want to set up another farm here. And this will be the one that, you know, you're headed into town. So production here, we'll set a house right up against kind of these. Let's go F, and rotate a little bit, T. Does it work right? Oh, it'd be nice if it kind of fit right into there, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we can fit it right into there, like so, and kind of line it up. First, let's line up the angle, then bring it out a little bit, even a bit more. Let's have the entrance face in that way. I think that'll look nice. Although, the only issue with the entrance facing in that way is it puts the bulk of the building out away from, like, you know, our houses. And it might look nice. This is how you play this game. It might look nicer if we had a little bit more, of the bulk of the houses towards the town like that. So there we go. We're going to plop that in there, and let's bring this up to our current sort of, like, high priority. Let's even lower this guy down here for now. Because I do want this trading dock to be done. Again, it's not necessary, but I just kind of want it. Now, there's a small alleyway behind the farm there, and I think that's going to look fine. So we have a farm placed here. We're going to need trade and transport. We're going to need a granary, I think. Or, no, at least a warehouse. I think the granary here there's enough. We've got 3 more spots. It's going to have most of this stuff. So I think the granary being in town is probably going to be a good idea. We'll send everybody in there to get the things they need, at least for this town, and we'll you know, spread it out in the bigger place. So this farm here, I think we definitely need a trade and transport, a warehouse. This warehouse could kind of we could put another house right here, or we could shove a little warehouse right here and then some fields. Is this enough houses? I think that's enough houses. That's going to provide enough fellas, and then we can build down this way. So yeah, let's put a warehouse on the way into town right here, and maybe it needs another cart shed as well. So we'll get this warehouse right there. We'll move that up just to under the trading dock, and then trader's transportation. Let's get a cart parking or cart shed. Cart shed's quite a big deal, isn't it? Quite a structure. But there's going to be a lot of farmland around here. So along here, let's get a cart shed. Let's just do it, folks. So place a cart shed there, and that's also fairly high priority. We're going to need to buy some iron, I think, some more nails. And we're going to need more smithies. Yeah, not enough iron. So we have charcoal. We need to buy some iron. That's all right. We do have a decent amount of money. Balakia here is offering nails. We could and iron. There we go. So how much is this going to cost me? Price per unit is 12. Nails price per unit is 0.05. Oh. Could just buy some nails. And that's 1,900 nails is only going to cost us 95 bucks. So let's do that deal. And let's also buy some iron. That's going to cost us 240 bucks. You know what? I think we have it. Let's spend that money and get that much iron in here. It's the only thing that we aren't making ourselves right now, aside from the high-end stuff, but we're going to get going to that this year, I swear. And they want flour, which we'll hopefully be able to sell, and potatoes pretty soon. And maybe even sunflower oil. Oh, I am looking forward to the future. Now, in order to get there, we need our cart shed, our warehouse over here. Now, our farm could be here. I don't know how... I mean, are windmills loud? Do you know what I mean? Are they a loud structure? Would they be near the houses? Or would they be out in the field kind of thing? I think I want to put it either... Yeah, I think I want to put it here because it'll be near, you know, some fields and stuff. That house is kind of... I wonder if we could edit it. Continue, demolish, put on hold. Oh, interesting. Don't allow anyone to move into the... Oh, yeah, right. So we can put houses on hold. I forgot about that. So I'd like to get this windmill up, but I will say it's not necessarily a priority. Let's get the windmill near the structures. And hopefully it's not too loud. It's not necessarily a priority because we have to get a lot built, and then we need a lot of extra, you know, wheat and stuff to mill. So that's going to be the farmland here. We'll have some farms around here. Then I think you come down this path here, and you can access, that's right, another farm. So we're going to build another farm, and that's going to get a lot of the ladies employed around town because we already have a need for fellas. So we might as well use up this land and make a bunch of farms around here. Some textiles here. Then the rest of the growth is going to be all down here. Well, the thaw has begun in February 1727, and we did not get our farm completed. But I was also looking at some of our other priorities, and I moved quite a few houses up in priority simply because we're going to need a lot more workers around, and I realized a lot more fellas. We even need a fella to manage the farm before we can hire all these folks, which, of course, we do want to do. So... That said, we haven't gone into growing season just yet. We might be able to sneak this one in just before. However, I also want to look ahead and place, where is it, production here? I'd like to place our, I never find it, stone mining camp. Now, this is going to be very temporary, I think, as a structure, just to get at this stone here. Eventually, we'll build up around it, but maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's like, that's simply how towns grow. Is it looks like it's going to be temporary, and then we just build around it. So we'll see if we end up building around it. In the meantime, we'll build it kind of near some stone and near the entrance. Oh, we can't. There we go. So we're going to get that one. I'm going to leave it. We'll move it up in priority above, like, say, the cart shed and warehouse, like the trading dock. I want it to be done so soon, but anyway, we'll get it. We'll get to it, is what I'm saying. We bought a lot of iron and a lot of nails, so I'm not too worried about our ability to get this expansion to our city, our village, I guess, done fairly soon. Tossing on my problem overlays has shown me that we do have some families lacking clothes. This is a new warning I haven't seen before. These must be folks that have moved in, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't think any amount of financial help is going to help us. We could do some trading if we wanted to just take a guess. Hopefully one of them just comes and sends a messenger to us anyway, and we can kind of do something about that. But in the meantime, I think we need to prepare for that. And so that's going to be this the development of this textiles area. First things first, I think they're going to need a warehouse because, again, we could have some items stored here for use. I think you can kind of use your trading posts and whatnot as a storage place. Like, you would just, like, put the number up to, like, put this number down to 200, and then that would free up 300 sunflowers immediately. But it's a little bit of, like, I would say micro work that I don't necessarily want to do. So what if we do cart park, a warehouse there. And that's I think it's gonna look really nice, kind of like next to the, let's see if that angle, almost, Control T and R, yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's gonna look really nice, especially when it's like, yeah, when the wooden spacer, I don't know if they'll actually go all the way in, or if they're just gonna hang out. Hopefully the animation, like, carries them on, similar to, like, how Foundation would do it. Let's find out. Okay, so then that'll come up and over here. And if not, I guess we'll have to hide it with trees or something. Because you have to go here until it, like, seems to properly connect. What we could do is have, like, a little path, I guess. So if we have this here, just a little further forward so it at least tries to connect a little bit. Yeah, this hill is a problem. I think this area, I was looking at the production here, and there's this little thing called the Shoemaker's Workshop. We don't have leather yet, so it's not useful, but I think that would look real cute right there or something, or it could actually go quite nicely, like, right here. Would also look pretty good, I think. So that's an option, but we're not going to build that yet. We don't need to worry or think about that right now. Let's not worry or think at all. But what we do need is, yeah, let's work on our Weaver's Workshop, which is going to make textiles, and then our Tailor, which is going to use that textiles to make stuff. Now, should we set our textiles, like, right here? Because I've looked at this trade thing, and it has a nice little, like, front piece, like this back piece here, where like the nice little entrance area where you can kind of walk down towards it. So I don't necessarily want to, like... Oh, we do have a messenger. Tarkachi, are you selling any clothes? Metal parts, leather. We could buy leather, I guess, and start doing... We could make shoes if we just bought leather. I feel like leather's going to be expensive, and I would love to just make my own. They also want to buy clothes. So I think if this farm, which is just about complete, and our next one here, have a lot, like a textile heavy, maybe like hemp and flax. If that's textile, if we're very textile heavy, we should be able to get ourselves into a new, yes, you heard it here the first time, revenue stream, baby. It almost makes more sense to line this up sort of with that. And have sort of something like that, I guess, maybe. And then have that kind of nice looking, like, what does that look like? If we change our angle down here, it's okay. It's okay. And it does go against my sort of what I wanted the entrance to be. But I think it's going to be like, if we just do something like so. How does that look there? I think that's going to look quite nice. And we'll get some trees all around it, of course. And some pathing is going to come in, and they're just going to, like, force their way around here. And so, like, right there, we're going to get our tailor's workshop. Now, this area here is going to need a lot of design work, some benches and a gazebo even, or something, as it's going to become a thoroughfare and very important. We'll let the desire lines kind of inform that. But really what we want to see is a hustle and bustle as well as some actual economic activity. So we have our tailor shop and our workshop, or warehouse, rather. Let's get our weaver's workshop, which is arguably more important, in right here. Now, we could turn it around, just because I think it's kind of nice to have, like, a view. They do have 2 windows, so that's kind of nice. And I am, I'll be honest, a little worried about the animation, like the thing, how it kind of pops out. Like, if we do it here, I mean, it's uneven anyway, but even if we do it here, it says it can build it, but it looks like there might be a little gap there. I'm trying to look for examples of where this has happened before. But it does look like it is well designed. I mean, the person who made this game, shout out to them. They really are just some of the better, one of the better game designers out there. But it's hard to see if there's any hills anywhere. Oh, yeah, maybe this one. So, yeah, it really looks like it did okay, actually. It looks like the animation is... Let's trust. Let's go ahead and trust and place it. It's funny that that's my biggest problem, right? Is I'm worried about that look more than I am getting, you know, getting my people clothed and fed. Says a lot about me, I suppose. So if we did that here, I wonder if we could even get another... Oh, and it did bring the land up around it, which is nice to see. I wonder if we could get another fishing dock right there. We could if we got it a little... No, we'd have to do that at least. But that doesn't look terrible. We could get a fishing dock right here. And then that looks quite nice, I think. And we'll have a little bit of some benches and some stuff around here. So that's good. That's for later, though. Right now, the weaver's workshop and the tailor's workshop are becoming somewhat important. But we're going to leave these 3 down here at the end just to... We're not worried about them right now. In the meantime, we do have this field. It's got a manager. Oh, right, I forgot. Women can manage the farms as well as work them. Great, so we've hired a lot of people, but unfortunately, we have missed the growing season. We have flax coming in, wheat, and buckwheat. So that's really going to help us as far as feeding our chickens, which we're doing okay with. And I think I could even bump up the numbers. So let's go to like 16 here. Let's match it. Let's go to 16 here. Let's bump our hatchling limit to 15, which hopefully that'll, like, those numbers being close together to me means that once we max this out, we'll be making quite a lot more eggs and meat. We'll be killing a lot more chickens, I guess, is the harsh thing I'm trying to say. All right. This place is truly coming along. The next thing to do is add some fields, I suppose. Now, I'd definitely like one field here to be, like, right along this road, if I can see the road there. And then what do we have here? This is a cart shed. Okay. Good to know. So we'll start here. Have our entrance there. And we're going to go 35. We're going to go fairly wide with this one because it's also going to be a very narrow one. So that's 500 and something. 670. which again, I think is a decent... Well, let's go 600. I don't want them to kill themselves. You know what I mean? I don't want them to be just, like, overworked. So we need to make, I guess, if we aim for all our fields... Escape. All our fields... If we aim for all our fields to be about 600, I think that's pretty good. We can make another thin one right here. Like so. That one's going to have to be quite long, isn't it? Almost just a bit longer. Too long. So about there, I think. And that's about 6... Okay, let's go 620. There's another field there. This is starting to look real nice, and I kind of like these long fields rather than square ones. I'm not sure if that's a thing. If square fields are better and more realistic. But I just kind of like the look here. So let's go out to here, and that gives us another 650. So if we actually... Oops. Let's go straight out. Down there. 700. So we went a little too wide with it. There we go. Here. 610, baby. Sorry, I said baby. All right, so we need... I would say 3 more of those. And maybe they come down this way, leaving a bit of a path, because we'll have this farm here kind of use up this space. And then that's going to look really nice, I think, once it's all put together. So let's add another field right here, and let's do no path for this one. I think 19 units ought to do it. So that's 690. Let's bring that in. 650. Maybe we'll just take 650. It's not terrible. Oh, 680 is starting to get a little spicy, I think, maybe. Yeah, we'll just take 650. So we have 4 good-sized farms here. And then up and along here, we want to add some fields, I think. And that should be enough room down here for other fields. Okay. So we'll go here. What do we have? We've got the windmill here, and then the main road into town is like there. So kind of line it up with this guy. Come across here. We'll go 70. Let's go a little wider. 20 units. So we can go about here, I think, and that's 530. A little more. 550. A little more. 30 units. 600 right there. Okay, good. All right, let's make another one of those. Yeah, these fields might get a little lopsided now, but this one I'm a little concerned because it's like a little bit of a trip to get to. It's another 630 units. Although, again, they walk through here right to there. They walk around to this one. Actually, that's pretty good. That's a fairly, I would say, if I got my say, a fairly well laid out farm. We could even put another one here and continue to grow out this way. But I like the idea of this being covered, and I think eventually, too, we should just plant a bunch of trees here. If I plant a bunch of these pine trees, it'll probably like fill this forest back in. And so I think that would look pretty nice. So there we have it, our field. Now let's get it ready with some crop rotation. Okay, so we're midway through the season. Definitely not time to grow, but I guess we are sowing this wheat field. Not something that I wanted to do. These are all wheat, and they don't let me change during the season. Maybe I did something wrong there and shouldn't have activated first. But at the end of the day, what if they try to make a little bit, like we already wrecked the season, and I think that's why. Oh, this field needs to be fixed. Demolish. Can't demolish. Okay. I didn't notice that. That's annoying. But at the end of the day, if they make a little bit of wheat, well, I guess that's fine at the end because wheat is always welcome here. The houses are coming in. We have a nice abundance of nails keeping us alive right now. We've definitely spent a lot. We've lost a lot on trade, but that's all right because our housing rent is coming in and we're about to collect more taxes by moving in some more people. We're going to keep building. I think I've got this farm sort of de-escalated right now because, again, this farm is more important. But I think maybe in the next couple of months we'll start it so that through the winter we can get that one done and set up properly, which is a great tip, and I've seen it on many videos before. Always ensure that you build your farm and finish it in the winter so you can set up your crop rotation and you don't have a weird summer like we're about to have. Unfortunately, the, what family is this? The Yatsenko family has decided to move out. This is a dire warning of the future of our tiny little nation if we're not careful. This is, I take it, to be a very large failure. We do have also a sort of a food issue. No workers taking care of these animals. That's not great. We're going to have some mass die-offs if we're not careful. So we're going to have to go to this farm and fire somebody so we can get them back working in the chicken coop. There we go. So we'll get this chicken coop back and running before we start losing chickens. That's a problem. This house will hopefully allow us to move somebody in. Maybe a new family will move in here. But we definitely need to solve this clothing thing before more people complain. We could send a messenger to... We could just make a guess. Maybe Marefa? But I have a sneaking suspicion, because I haven't seen clothes on the market before, I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be one of these water-based cities. So once we get this built, we'll at least be able to find that out. Truly a dark time, as another family is moving out because they couldn't get enough clothes. Will people move back in? Yes, however, the problem is not enough food for sale either. So we're going to have a death spiral if we're not careful. There's not enough food variety. However, by the harvest time, that will solve itself because of all the food they're growing themselves, coupled with the fish and meat I'm selling. I think we still have a few people. Yeah, we have a good amount of fishers, at least in one of our docks. We have our... that's another person who has bailed on us here. So we'll have to consider freeing up a lady somehow. You heard me. So we're gonna fire her, and hopefully she can move over and take care of the chickens. Have we lost our teacher? No, we still have our teacher, which is important. So hopefully by the winter we'll get at least 3 new families moving in once the debuff of not enough food variety goes away. Once that goes away, we'll get them in, because they don't need clothing to be available before they move here. But that is a warning, and something that I need to do. I need to make these a priority. Then in this winter, we'll have a bit of flax, but in this winter, we need to set up some proper crop rotation here. So things are getting very tense here in Solid Ham, and I would say this 4th episode here may be our darkest. And just like that, Katerina and Ihor, the Torcalo family, moves in. As some of the stats are going away, we will see these homes fill. But again, there is a timer on of whether or not I can provide clothing for these people, as the problems in this town begin to accrue. But we'll just go ahead and turn that off, and now we don't have to worry so much about the problems accruing. The Malitskis head into town. They, in front of them, see only hope. They see the future. They see a bunch of wheat fields growing, and they think, you know what? This might be a good town to settle in. I sure hope they have shorts for sale. And I go, hang on, sorry. That might not happen. So we do have this new house built, and we have one extra house here, which had a family move out, unfortunately. So if they take this one, they're also going to get a growing garden. So that's nice. And that'll basically have undone our slightly downturn there that we did have. I am not ignoring that warning, though. We have all 3 of these moved up in priority, and builders are going on them immediately. Looking at it from above, I think I've fallen in love with these long fields. I just think that's a really great idea. Pretty happy with that, if I do say so myself. This area is in need of redoing. We might redo that 1 year or something, just when everything else is going well. When this kind of more organized space is looking good, I think we can just kind of redo the look, and that'll help us kind of maybe even move that field away so that we can make room for some pigsties and stuff. I think that Old Town is probably going to be one of my favorite places to just zoom over and look. I've also started building a little bit of this fence just because I can in this space here. So we'll have sort of that curve there. We'll have that kind of come across here and sort of seal off that area. Once we get a little bit more going on, we might kind of chop these trees down. And then it would be nice to get into some oil. I think that's going to be the true mark of a successful village or town is when we can start selling things like sunflower oil and like those extra things, those extra supplies. But in the meantime, the first thing to do is get ready for the influx of flax that we do have. I'm glad we're getting a bumper crop of this wheat, which does seem to be ripening quite nicely, because this field, unfortunately, is not yet ready for our wheat. So we have basically a failed crop here. Potentially not a great crop there. That's not looking ideal. This one should be okay, and then this wheat will just be absolutely delightful. This one might be okay. I don't know. That's got to be enough to grow some flax. It's all in the 40s. What does flax need? 60. Okay, yeah, so that's not going to be a great amount of flax. That's going to be a problem for us. But at least we have our buckwheat, and we have a good chunk of wheat coming in here, and our steadfast farmers did a great job with all this wheat here. So over the winter, we'll have to reorganize that, but this amount of crop is going to help us get through this winter, and we can even bump up our supplies for our dear chickens. I believe things are going so well now that we have all those houses moved back into that we even have a couple of fellas, or just one fella, looking for a job, so that's not bad. That is not bad at all. We could open up the boat yard again. We don't really need a boat yard. We have a full fisher dock, so that's kind of nice. I think we're going to need to repair those, aren't we? Yeah, so we're going to need to repair those, so let's at least hire that fella. So we have full employment among the men's. And 2 jobs for both the men and the women. So one more house will really help propel us, especially because we have this weaver's workshop, which I'm not sure. I assume it's going to need. Okay, we can hire both. Hire seasonable labor. So we do have that. That's going to open up a couple more jobs here. So that's built now, and then we just need this tailor's workshop, which is getting built next to be built. It's quite a small building, isn't it? Compared to the size of this weaver's workshop. And as we can see here, the animation did a decent enough job of lining up, so that's something to remember for the future. It always tries to help line up to the hill, but you can kind of see where it clips off there. But we can hide that with some bushes, and we will probably want to anyway, as our weaver's workshop sits alone on that hill. It is harvest now, and yes, these fields are saving our butts and bringing in a wheat harvest that is going to rival any previous year. So things are looking good for the winter. And we do have a messenger visiting us from Derakchi, and they normally buy our charcoal, which is going to get us a nice hefty sum of 463 Ostrivian doubloons, and that's basically going to erase all of that money we spent on iron and nails. If we take a look here, nails, we still have 3,000 nails, and I'm not seeing, and then 1,100 iron in storage. So I think we're going to be good for a fairly long amount of time, and we'll be able to get a lot of things going here, like our tailor's workshop up and running. We do have a worker here in our weaver's workshop. Not sure how much that's going to produce, and we do have, I think we're going to need more of these village houses coming in, so we'll get another one in throughout the winter. This one here, I believe, will be the next one, and that's going to help us, hopefully staff these things. However, the flax, because we had to change our, we had to change our plans around, this field is, I don't think, going to yield too much flax. I'm also concerned that we're not even going to get there. So as our tailor's workshop is done, we'll open that for a couple of tailors. And yeah, warm clothes and warm clothes. Good. Let's go to 300 warm clothes. So we'll try to mainly work on those clothes. And then this can be deprioritized. Yeah. So these areas here are going to need some fencing and some benches and stuff to kind of tie this area together, as these buildings look a little plopped down. So that's going to be the next trick, is making that look kind of natural. No sooner than a house was completed than we had the Voloshians move in. Now, I kind of feel like, it's sort of hard. They were already working jobs, so I kind of feel like these are potentially our first family. I wish there was a way to find out. Our first family that has come from these other houses and that have matured and come of age. Because we have, like, Alina here. She is, that's right. She's moving to another house. Oh, that's amazing. So they're going to start making a new family for us. And I don't know if that's the first, but it very much feels like this is our first family that has moved here from just over the street. So I like that they wanted to get some distance from their parents. They wanted to set out on their own and live in the new construction, the new part of town going up, which will eventually, of course, be historical, as all things pass through time. so too will that house. But right now it is fresh, it's new, it's even got a little yard, not a big one, just a little yard that they can manage. And there we have it, our first brand new family moving in, making some kids, and just generally making Solid Ham a place that you love to live. By November of 1727, things in Solid Ham were looking a lot better. I fixed this field here, and now that the growing and harvesting is done, I can reorganize the field, so I did just that. And we have a fairly nice, I think, crop rotation here, where I now have a bit of hemp being grown for a couple of years, with 1 year without any hemp. But I think with the other farm that's about to come in, I can make sure to get lots of coverage. And this is also kind of our potato region, so we'll make sure to get a lot of potato. Some hemp for textiles, yes, and then of course flax being grown over here as well. So that will help shore up our textiles, enabling them to go every year and hopefully year-round. I've also got some sunflowers and buckwheat, which I found they match each other quite nicely. So sunflowers take 100% of whatever nutrient this is, I can't remember. And only 30 of the nitrogen, which, again, I'm calling it nitrogen. The buckwheat takes 60 and 20 of that, so 60, 80, yeah, so exactly. So they play nice together. I have noticed, I think you can actually do potatoes, buckwheat, and potatoes. Because the potatoes will use 50%. Buckwheat uses 0, so you can get 2 potatoes and 1 buckwheat. Buckwheat uses 20, and you're going to go through 60 here if you do 2 potatoes. And then 60% off 1 buckwheat. So you actually can do a triple rotation if you want of potatoes, buckwheat, potatoes, and then fallow. Or, potatoes, potatoes. You say potato, I also say potato because we are friends and speak similarly. I think the only thing left to do here is to take a look at our textiles region. So this area right near the eventual trade dock that is getting built is going to look really nice. The only issue now is that they're kind of sticking out by themselves. So the thing to do here, I believe, is going to be to decorate them a little bit, make them look a little nice here. So to start with, let's get this fence maybe? Yeah, that fence is perfect for this. So let's get that fence here in front of our sort of textiles area and kind of, whoa, okay, the camera's a little wonky right now. It's just a little, I'm finding it a little looser, which is, I guess, nice. I don't know if there was an update or something that makes the camera a little rowdier. So we're going to do this. We're going to bring it down and give these fine, wonderful folks here a yard. I will have to remember to give them an entrance to this yard. So let's go a little wider on this side, maybe. Come up here. And then, of course, we're going to have to check to make sure this actually looks okay. And I think even if we just go a little further like that... you know what? No, let's hang on. Escape. Let's demolish that one and do this a little bit better. A little wider on that side so we can really make sure that nobody's getting stuck and that we can plant some trees and stuff. I think the fencing... is, I mean, one of my favorite things in any game that's a colony builder is like this design work, this stuff where you can kind of really dial in the look of a space. There we go. See, that's looking quite nice. I'm liking that, and I think, yeah, it's a bit of an oblong yard, but I think that works. And then I think maybe what we could do here is, let's get some cottonwood trees in right next to the, so we'll get one here, shift, like a row of them. Let's do a row of them here. I think that's going to look really nice along there like that. And then maybe we get some bushes in there as well. Honestly, that's one of the crazy things about this game is like all they need to do is add in some more bushes, like more little detail things, different types of benches and stuff like that. And I am pretty sure that us players of Ostriv would probably jump at that and call that like a really nice content update. And okay, nobody tell, Mr. Ostriv. But honestly, like, you could do DLC. I'd pay for it. Don't tell him I said that, but I would definitely, I could see myself grabbing some of this DLC. $15 for some more benches. Maybe that's just me. So we'll get these, let's control and rotate that a little more here. And kind of get a couple of benches in here, but the poor people benches. Now, and the reason for that is just to make it look like this is sort of a working house after all. So once those trees come in, that's going to look really nice. Let's not put, like this should stand alone. However, I do wish there was a way to get some like some barrels and stuff like that. That's kind of what we need. They need to take something from like foundation and put some of that in there. But maybe we can get like a pine tree. I think a pine tree looks quite nice near the warehouse like this. Too close to another tree, so we'll put that there. Like, I think that's going to look really nice, kind of just like scattered like that. Couple of trees. Maybe it needs to be rule of threes, you know? Let's get a third one right up there. So that's going to look really good there. And then this one, I think we should just go with the yard rule again. So if we do this yard rule here, what we can do is use this yard to actually make a bit of a something like this. And then we can actually kind of enforce a bit of, I guess it's pretty close quarters there. So let's escape. Nope, there. Let's demolish that. Get this fence in here. Something like that. And we kind of need to, we need to miss. Okay, let's go here. And then here. This fence then comes up along this way here. Kind of creating a little bit of separation, I think. Let's see what that looks like. And then what we could do is, escape out of that. And let's bring this fence over a bit like that. Now, I don't know how much we'll be able to build there, back there, but maybe we can get some bushes in here. Dog rose bush, maybe a couple of those. Basically, we just need a different kind of bush. And now I feel bad that I said I would pay, like, you could do a DLC. I don't think we should do DLC for this. Just keep updating it, Mr. Ostriv. Maybe an ash tree goes next to it if we can fit it. Although it'll no, I think that's nice. I think that's nice. So then this area here just seems to be screaming for a nice bench. So we're going to put a little bench in right here. And the music of Ostriv swells, and we realize that we are living our best life. Making a colony wherein those folks can live theirs. Do we have any... I guess there's no day and night cycle, but I haven't actually looked at the, like... what would you call it? I haven't looked at the road map, and so I'm not sure if they're planning any sort of day and night cycle, but I could imagine that's got to be coming up. I'm going to just do a little bit something like this just to enforce some boundaries here. Okay? And I think this might be a good spot for a little water fountain, which would be there. Water. Come on, where do you think it would be? And that entrance is on this side here, so let's do something like that. Maybe it's a little too... I feel like that works. We'll just tuck it in a little bit. And then maybe we delete this fence and actually bring it around a little more. Maybe it comes around here. Something like that. There. To there. There we are. So that fence kind of comes along there. Then maybe this gets deleted here. And we're going to make this sort of like a little bit of a tighter space. But still, still a useful space. And then it comes into like there. And then we're just going to back it right off here. So that kind of like hints at how we want it to be used and creates a little bit of separation. And then, of course, we fill it with the usuals, some trees. Does the spruce tree go there? See, how would that look? I like it. I like a spruce tree there. So we'll place that spruce tree in there. And a couple of dog rose bushes. As usual, got to get those dog rose bushes in there. And then maybe, I don't know what a bell post is for. Oh. And there's no text there just yet, but I assume at some point there will be. And who knows, maybe there'll even be some functionality there. But it looks quite nice just kind of right there. I don't know, it seems to be like some kind of like, maybe it's a community, gathering spot or something. We'll put in a couple of benches here. I do feel like this is quite idyllic. I don't know if I would necessarily enjoy having a house right next to all of this, but this is very much like a downtown sort of situation, this area here. So once those trees come in, that is going to fill this area in quite nicely. We can put a little bit more detailing work in there. And this space here, we'll have to get a little... let's get somebody... Okay, oh yeah, we need to put it here. Flax. And some... oh, is that all we can put here? Only available. There we go. Flax, hemp, and let's make sure we have... we can store various things like warm clothes and... where's the normal clothes? Normal clothes. If only we had a bit more space in here. Only 4 items in this warehouse. Seems like maybe it's a rather small warehouse. I guess the idea is that we're supposed to build a lot more warehouse. There we go. Clothes, warm clothes, hemp, and flax. Those are the things we're growing right now, so that makes sense. We might have to put another warehouse in maybe right here to hold on to a few more items. But again, I don't think a warehouse would be too bad right here. You know, so we could do a little bit of redesign work, or we could just shove it right here willy-nilly. Right there. It's perfect. But I think a properly placed warehouse, unless we do the shoe shop there, the shoe workshop, could work and could help speed up and make some things a little more efficient. But this being a little smaller here, leading towards this entrance to our church, I think that's all feeling a lot better. This feels a little more built in, especially the fence around this guy. The fence around this is, you know, it's okay. We'll see when those trees come in and what that looks like. And I think filling it in with more trees is definitely the way to go as we continue on. However, we have made it to basically the end of November. Oh, it says 6 years from our settlement start. It's still a very small settlement. I do tend to, I think I play slowly. I don't know. But I really want to feel everything. I want to feel each house coming in and each new person moving in to those houses. We have a lot of open vacancies for men and women, so I'm going to just keep cruising on building more houses, because once this farm really gets up and active, and then this one has its crop rotation fixed, which I have now done, we are going to start to see much more settled and stable town. I believe we have enough wheat to feed... Oh, 20 chicken meal, man, that's awesome. I believe we have enough wheat here to feed them for many years over. 3,200 wheat in stock. So I'm going to increase my livestock limit to 20, which will probably end up giving me more eggs. I'm going to match it with the hatchlings limit. I don't know what that gets me. Hopefully more turnover, but they probably are hungry, so I need to be careful. So let's do 20 and 20 and just see what that raise gets us as far as, you know, chicken meat, etc. The crow crows the start of a day, although I feel like maybe it's the end of the day. Maybe that's just the way the snow feels, and maybe that's the way I feel because it is the end of another episode of Ostriv. We got our new farmland in. Eventually the windmill will follow. A lot of buildings here. Okay, there's got a lot of chopping to do there. A lot of buildings to follow, but we're gonna move people in as fast as possible. Let's open this one up and move that ahead of this house. Let's move some more folks in over the winter and help fill some of these jobs here, as we have quite a lot of work left to do and only more work on the way. But I'm happy to know that we at least have some textiles being made, and with it some warm clothes as well. Mikolia and... Oh, husband and wife. Maria Voloshinia and Mikola Voloshin. Oh, not the same. Sorry. My bad. I didn't mean to assume. At any rate, a great little addition to our village is this expanded textiles industry. This path will start to get a lot more use, and once those trees fill in, that's going to look quite nice. So I hope you've enjoyed another fine couple of months in Ostriv. And I hope you found it to be some calm, yet solid content. And we will see you all in the next episode of Ostriv.